Hello and welcome back to another video, and as you can tell by the title, today I'm going to be going over my new top 10 BL manga. Last time I did this was about, I think, over 2 years ago, and some of my favourites have changed since then. Some are the same, some have just changed position, and some are completely new. So I decided to complete this completely new list going over my new favourites. So yeah. So, let's just get into it, shall we? Now, the number 10 position on this list was the hardest position to pick. Positions 1 to 9, I knew exactly what I was putting where in what position, but position 10, there were so many that I wanted to put in this position, and I couldn't decide. But in the end, I managed. Anyway, we had choices like Grass Syndrome, we had Boy Meets Maria, we had Restart After Coming Back Home, and a couple other ones, but in the end I decided that my number 10 position would go to Dick Fight Island. Yes, I love this series. I haven't read Volume 2 yet. I do own it. It's on the other side of the room. But Dick Fight Island was super quirky, super funny, and surprisingly super wholesome too. This is like the meme volume when it came out, but it's surprisingly very good. And Dick Fight Island is about these 8 warriors who come together on this island to fight to see who becomes the next king. But they don't fight traditionally, they fight using their dicks, and the first person to come loses. It sounds ridiculous, and it is ridiculous, and it's just so good. I'll try and find a page. Surprisingly, I found one first time. But yeah, this series, I just love this first volume so much, and I'm looking forward to the second one. And there's a custom on this island where everyone goes around exposing their arses. Though this volume is full of arse, full of dick. It's not uncensored, but it might as well be the little censorship there is. It's excellent, and I would recommend this if you're into like more of a less so like your cute and fluffy BL and more your very, very sexual BL, because this one is, but it does still have those wholesomeness to it. My list is kind of a mix of wholesome and very, very not. Anyway, next up at number 9 on my list is a new series from... I read it this year, but I think it came out last year. And that is Seaside Stranger. This is volume 1. This was originally a one-shot, but now it's a series, and in English it's printed as volume 1 and volume 2 and so on. I've read the first 2. Now, Seaside Stranger, I was first introduced to this series when the film came out on Funimation, and I really enjoyed that film, but it left me wanting to see more of these characters. But then I found out that the manga was ongoing, so of course I picked up this first volume. Eventually, I had trouble getting this because the stock was low. This was out of stock for months everywhere before I was actually able to pick it up on Book Depository. So yeah, it's a very good series though. It was worth the wait. Volume 2 I had a hell of a lot less struggle to get. Volume 2 was a lot easier. But this is a manga about this boy. He left the woman he was supposed to marry at the altar and confessed to his parents that he was gay. He was then kicked out and he went to live with his aunt. Well, he went to Tokyo for a bit and then he went to live with his aunt on Okinawa. And when he's there, he's living with his aunt and his cousin and her wife. And there he meets Mio. And Mio has just lost his mother. He's in his last year of high school. And the two of them still kind of get to know each other. But then Mio has to go to the mainland to go live at an orphanage until he turns 18. And then 3 years later, Mio returns. But now Shun, who is this guy here, is no longer kind of interested in pursuing a relationship with him, but Mio is. It's very good. I very enjoyed this one. There is one sex scene in this volume. It's not the most graphic I've seen, but it is there. Yeah, this one was very good. It was cute too. And yeah, I very recommend this one. So that's my number 9 favourite. My number 8 is I Love Mix Up. I've read the first 2 volumes to this. And this is so good. This is actually a Shoujo Beat published series. So it's like a Shoujo and a BL. But this one is a super cute one. This one is safe for under 18s. So this is a story about Aoki, and Aoki has a crush on the girl who sits next to him. I can't remember her name, but one day he asks to borrow her rubber, and he sees that her rubber has the name of the guy who sits in front of him on it, Ida, with a heart next to it. And Aoki accidentally drops the rubber, and he doesn't want his crush's crush to be revealed because he thinks it'll be embarrassing for her, so he takes the hit and says that it's his rubber. So now Ida thinks that Aoki has a crush on him. And there's this big misunderstanding, but during this misunderstanding, Aoki then actually starts to develop feelings for Ida. And he doesn't know whether he really wants to clear up the misunderstanding anymore or not. Yeah, this one is super cute. And I highly recommend it. It's so good. So yeah, that's my What Makes Up at number 8. And at number 7, where I had my first returning entry from my last video, and that is Escape Journey. This, I think, used to be higher on the list, or it might have been lower on the list. I can't remember, but I think it used to be a bit higher up. But anyway, Escape Journey is by Getsu Tanaka, and I never remember to say authors' names. I need to get better at that, but yeah, this is by Wataru Imakura and art by Aoko. This one is Ki Kana, and this one is Raven Iki, or Ike. So yeah. There we have Escape Journey. This is the same author who did Bitch Club, which I don't enjoy that one as much, but it's okay. I haven't read the 4th volume yet, but I really enjoyed this one. And this is about 2 college students who used to be in a relationship, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I read this. But yeah, it's Naoto and Taichi, and they used to be in a relationship in high school, but if I remember correctly, but they broke up, and now they've met again in college, and they're kind of rekindling that relationship, but they're scared of anyone finding out and then being judged for it. So this one is very good. And this one does go into detail a little bit in the later volumes. It's a complete series at 3 volumes long about the homophobia in Japan and how difficult it is for a same-sex couple to actually get a house together. It's stuff like that is talked about in volume 3. Yeah, I very enjoyed this one. It was good. I liked the couple. This one is definitely not for under 18s, as well as most of Sublime stuff. But yeah, I enjoyed Escape Journey. It's a good 3 volume long series. Give it a go. It does have some problematic scenes. They don't bother me, but they might somebody else. So yeah. And that was number 7. No, number 6 on the list is Birds of Shangri-La, and this is Ramu Azaria's currently publishing work, and this one is fantastic. Let me just find a page. Oh yeah, it's fine, it's got knickers on. I love Ramu Rimuru Zarya's art style, and she does very good sex scenes. Very good sex scenes. Anyway, this is about a male brothel called Shangrila. It's located on this island, and one day we have this guy, I can never remember his name. This is an ongoing series, by the way. It can't be 2 volumes. Apollo, and he's either separated from his wife or he's just divorced his wife. And he's come to this island, and he's gotten a job as a fluffer, who is someone who prepares the birds, as they're called, for their clients, so he gets them all turned on, ready for them to go seek out their clients. But the rules are that he's not allowed to make the birds come, he's not allowed to fall in love with them, and he's not allowed to penetrate them. Anyway, there's a bird called Fee, who is put in charge of like training Apollo and teaching him the ropes. And Fee has kind of a mysterious background to him, and this is just a very good series. I very enjoy it. Rimuru Zarya's works in general tend to be very good, but this is my new favourite by her. This knocked Ricker and Cigarettes off the list because I just love this one so much, and I'm looking forward to Volume 3. So yeah, anything by Rimuru Zarya I would recommend, but this one especially. And that's the latter 5, and now we're into the top 5. And then this next one is surprisingly the only Tokyo Pop volume on this list, because I do love all of the ones I've read by them so far, but this one is by far my favourite. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And that is The Cat Proposed by Deto Hayane. And I just love this one so much. This one is a 16, so there is some like groping, but there's no full-on sex. And this is about an overworked guy who's getting a bit tired and fed up of his everyday life, and for a split second while he's coming home from work one day, he considers just jumping off of the train station onto the tracks, but then he thinks better of it and he goes to this cafe instead, where as a storyteller, I've forgotten what it's called, like a traditional Japanese storyteller, like kind of like in Descending Stories. He's talking there, he's telling a story there, and he's kind of mesmerised by it, and the story kind of refreshes him a bit. But then he finds out that the storyteller is actually a Bakaneko, which is like a cat demon, and the Bakaneko has decided that he is going to be his bride. And this one was just, I really loved this one. It was kind of cute too. Again, I really liked the couple. I really enjoyed this one. It's by far my favourite Tokyo Pop one-shot from all that I've read. And I do highly recommend it. I'm not even a cat person, but I still enjoyed this. Next up, at number 4, this is another returning series. These last 4 are all returning series from the first list. These top 4 haven't really changed much other than the positions that they used to be in are now different. But yeah, they're all returning series, especially the top 3. Anyway, at number 4 I have Therapy Game. Last time I did this list 2 years ago, this was at number 10, because I had thoroughly enjoyed this, but I've only read 1 volume, but now I've read 2, and also Restart, and I absolutely adore this series. This is my Meguru Hinokahara. Although I do recommend you read her one-shot. I do recommend you read her one-shot Secret XXX before you get in the Therapy Game, because it does. That's the volume that introduces you to the characters and stuff. So yeah, I do recommend reading that one first, but I do prefer Therapy Game. And Therapy Game is about Shizuma. I think his name is Shizuma. This guy here, and Minato. And Shizuma's girlfriend has just cheated on him, and he's upset, and he goes to his friends take him to a gay bar as a joke, and he gets very drunk, and he's crying, and then Minato kind of approaches him, and he kind of starts flirting, and anyway, the two of them go home together, go to bed, and then next morning, Shizuma wakes up, no memory of what happened when he was drunk whatsoever, and Minato's kind of annoyed because that he doesn't remember the good time they had together, so he decides to get revenge with the prompting of some friends to actually make him fall for him and then break his heart. But in the process, Minato actually starts liking him and starts to regret the reason why he started doing this. And I really, really loved this one. It was so good. So good. Again, there was a bit of problematic stuff in this one, not as much as Escape Journey, but I still really enjoy it. Anyway, these last three are basically the same, just positions have changed slightly. But I love these three so much that they can't just not be in the top of the list. And at number 3, I have I Hear the Sunspot by Yuki Fumino, published by One Piece Books. This is the only series by them that I own. I know they've done a few other things. Anyway, I Hear the Sunspot is a fantastic series. And this series is just so good. I love it so much, and it will always be one of my favourites. This is the first volume, then we go on to Theory of Happiness, then we go on to Rimit, and then there's a new one out called 4 Seasons, which hasn't been brought out in English yet, but it has. I think the first one has just come out in Japan. I'm highly looking forward to when they hopefully bring that one over. I Hear the Sunspot is about 2 college students. We have Taichi, another Taichi, and then we have Kohei, who is hard of hearing. Due to a fever he got when he was in middle school, he lost 90% of his hearing. He still has some hearing. And he has trouble hearing the class lectures, so he asks Taichi, who he can hear quite well because of how loudly he speaks, to take notes for him in exchange for him giving him lunches. And Taichi agrees and starts taking him notes, and they become good friends. And then Kohei starts to develop more of romantic feelings towards Taichi, and yeah, I absolutely love this one. This one is amazing. It's wholesome. It's so good. Really. And number 2 is my former number 1, and that is Candy Color Paradox by Isaku Natsume. Again, I really like this author. I've read this one and I've read False Memories by her. I haven't read her other ones because they're either digitally exclusive or they're out of print and difficult to find. Although I am still looking. She also did not Hybrid Child, the other one, Tightrope, which I've seen the OVA for. Anyway, Candy Color Paradox is very good. The couple in this, the dynamic between these two reminds me a little bit of Therapy Games dynamic. We have One and Kaburagi, and One works with this magazine as a reporter and Kaburagi as a cameraman, and they go around getting scoops and stuff on business owners and celebrities and publishing it in their magazine. Anyway, they kind of made to work together on this case, and they don't get on at all until they do, basically. And I really love this one. These two characters, I adore them. This is a fantastic series. It's currently ongoing at, I think, 5 volumes. And it's so slow to release. We get a volume every 2 or 3 years of this, but it's so worth it. It's excellent. And my number 1 pick is, of course, Given by Natsuki Kizu. I am obsessed with Given. Given is awesome. I love the anime. I watched the anime first. It was excellent. And after watching the anime, I just had to read the manga. but at the time this first volume wasn't quite out yet, so I've been getting them as they come out, but the film's good too. And now we're getting an OVA of the content from volumes 4 and 5, which weren't included in the film. We're getting that in an OVA, and I'm hoping for a second season to cover the current arc. But I love Given so much. Given is just awesome. We have these 4 guys in a band. We have Mafuyu, Umiyama, Haruki and Akihiko, and they all form this band called Given, and Mafuyu is sleeping on the stairs one day when Umiyama comes into contact with him and sees that he has a guitar. And I can't say his name today. Mafuyu asks if he will teach him, and he says he can't because he doesn't really want to put the time and effort into it. But then he hears Mafuyu sing, and he's like, I'm gonna have to get this guy to join my band, and he agrees to teach him guitar, and he joins the band, and it's just so good. Given is awesome. I love all the characters. I think this will always be my favourite. It used to be Candy Core Paradox, but Given just overtakes it because of my absolute obsession with this series. I have the plushies and everything on my shelf over there. If you can see, I have all the characters just lined up. Yeah, Given is just awesome. It's the epitome of awesomeness to me. I love it so much. So yeah, that is Given, my number 1 favourite BL manga. And that is it. As I say, honourable mentions will probably include Glass Syndrome, Boy Meets Maria, Restart After Coming Back Home, ones like that I wanted to put it, and Our Dining Table too. Wings that I wanted to put in the 10th position, but Dick Fight I just pick them to the post at the last minute. So yeah, all great series though. And here's a recap of everything from number 10 all the way up to number 1. Yeah, other great series such as 10 Count and Love Stage, which I still very enjoy, had to leave the list to make room for some more of these fantastic titles, but I still enjoy them just as much as I used to. These ones I think were slightly better. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you for another one when I do it, and yeah, that's it, and goodbye.